The Cowboy invasion of California has begun. Training camp presented by American Airlines is here, and this is Training Camp Live.
Oh, good pass.
It's the first Training Camp Live of 2021. Kyle Youmans alongside David Helman, DallasCowboys.com. As we're back at it again, it's a different year, but still a lot of fun to get some first looks at some players.
I'm beside myself. Are you kidding? We're 10 feet away from the team.
Nice.
This is the closest I have been to the Dallas Cowboys since the end of the 2019 season. It feels fantastic. Ready to watch some practice.
It's different, but it's more normal than it has been over the last couple years, if you can understand exactly what we're going through. We're going to start off with the defensive line. Couple guys here, Randy Gregory, Bradley and I. This is one of the better position battles, I think, David, that we're going to see throughout training camp because of the depth at the spot.
Absolutely. And, I mean, look, we're 20 feet away from Randy Gregory, the man himself, the guy we've been talking about all year. He's at training camp. Nobody's asking questions about where he is or what his availability is. He's gone through this whole thing. And, yeah, I mean, this, for my money, I don't know about depth, but just in terms of the level of competition at this position, other than Randy Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence, what else do we know about this position group?
Not a whole lot. There's a lot of newcomers, couple
Exactly.
rookie draft picks that have been thrown into the mix, but you're right. I think outside of the starters, you feel pretty
The starters at end,
That's
you
true.
Feel free. I mean, we look here at Neville Gallimore, Oso Odigizua there in the 75. Brent Urban is a guy that I don't think gets enough pub. You go ahead and tell me who's playing defensive tackle for this team.
I have no idea.
They got a lot of options, and it's fun.
Anybody can have their guess because Neville Gallimore, a third-round pick from a year ago, played well whenever he had opportunities, but still, I think for a third-round rookie, didn't get a ton of snaps that you anticipated. And maybe it took toward the end of the year when Tristan Hill was out of the starting lineup for him to really get into the rotation. I think there's a lot of excitement around Osa Odigizua out of the 75 uniform right there off to the left. I think he might have a rookie campaign similar, if not better, than what Neville Gallimore brought to the table last year.
Absolutely. And hey, here, as we say it, they square up, working on, shedding blocks, getting off their man. And, I mean, may the best man win. Obviously, ideally, they're both going to play a lot of snaps. But I'm fascinated to see who's going to play three technique in this defense. I think they're the two front runners for it.
We just took a look at Carlos Watkins going up against Odigizua. Watkins, along with Brent Urban, who you already mentioned, and as he takes his rep, both veteran guys kind of sprinkled amongst a younger position group, I think, at defensive tackle. Do you think any of these guys, as veterans, have an advantage coming into the situation?
I do, for sure, yeah. And it's easy to get enamored with the draft picks, and rightfully so. I mean, Neville had a really promising rookie year. Osa is a top 100 pick. You should be excited about those guys, but when you get out here to training camp, it's a different animal, man. Coaches are going to go with the guy that they trust, the guy that proves he can do it. Brent Urban's been in the league for a long time. Watkins he just finished his rookie contract, so this is his 5th season. These are guys that have been here and done it. I'm not going to be surprised if either one of them surprises. But at the same time, that's what makes this so fun. I'm not going to be surprised if they lose out, and unfortunately, when a veteran loses out, that is typically not a good thing for their future with the team. So that's something that you're going to have to watch as we get into training camp.
And even looking at Carlos Watkins, just kind of towering. He is a big individual. I mean, looking at him just kind of compared to some of these other defensive tackles, my goodness,
and
he
Brent
has got
as well.
some size.
I mean, Brent Urban is like 6'6".
Oh, I meant to say Brent Urban. I said Carlos Watkins.
Well, it's funny you say that. Watkins is huge,
He's
too.
big, too.
I ran into Watkins grocery shopping the other night. And, I mean, obviously, I'm a small guy anyway, but, I mean, he's gigantic by any measure you
Did he
wanna
have
use.
2 carts into your 1 cart?
No, but
Half a cart?
he was loading up. He was making sure that he had his groceries and his snacks and stuff for film session, and I don't blame him.
No doubt about that. Brent Urban, 6'7", 300 pounds,
He's
30 years old. Watkins,
enormous.
6'3", closing in on 300, just knocking on the door there. So 2 very big interior defensive linemen, which last year with the run defense was a big issue.
All right, now, and we got all the way through this without mentioning a fan favorite here in Quentin Bohanna.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still used to seeing Tyrone Crawford wearing the 98, but he's got a body type that a lot of people on this team don't have. When you talk about a guy that can play nose tackle, who can clog the run, I think a lot of people have high expectations for him, which is interesting. He's a 6th-round pick. You don't typically put expectations on a guy like that, but Quentin Bohanna. I mean, people have been clamoring for the Cowboys to draft a player like him for a long time. I'm excited to see how he does.
And during his time at Kentucky, he kind of borderlined on the near side mark of maybe 400 pounds. And he doesn't look 400 pounds. He looks a lot better, I think, at this point.
It sounds weird to say that a 330-pound man is slim, but Quentin Bohanna looks slim, man. He looks fit. Football players are crazy.
No doubt about that. It's pretty unbelievable how these guys are able to get into shape. Talking about being in shape, we mentioned Randy Gregory earlier. The edge rushers have now moved to the far side of the field from us, and Randy Gregory on a knee, taking a quick breather. Rondell Carter over there as well. Dorrance Armstrong in the mix, Bradley and I. But Randy Gregory, you mentioned it, first offseason, really full first offseason in about 5 years for an individual who has a lot of expectations on this defensive line and is certainly going to be the starter at the edge spot. What do you expect out of Randy? He's already done one work today with Dan Quinn. Is there any added expectations with the offseason behind him?
I don't want to put expectations on Randy. And maybe I'm biased because I've watched this guy's entire journey to where you never knew if he was going to play football, and now he's finally in a position to start and live up to that potential. And don't get me wrong, I mean, there are expectations, right? Like, if he can take that step and play like the player we think he is, it's going to mean big things for this defense. But I'm still in a mode where I'm just happy to see him here doing it. But, man, if he can channel into that talent we know he has, I absolutely – and then you think about the fact that he's in a contract year. I mean, if they could get 8 or more sacks out of Randy Gregory, what a story that would be. And I definitely think he's capable of doing it.
I definitely think so, too. Opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence, who is not at practice today, starting off on the PUP list as the defensive line come together. We're going to wrap things up. So that's going to do it here for us on Training Camp Live. David Helman, Kyle Youmans, as we do put this first one behind us, but plenty more to come. We'll have a Training Camp Live every day that the Cowboys are on the field out here at Oxnard. But until then, keep up with everything on DallasCowboys.com. Until next time, we'll see you later.